All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. This is Angular Nation, and I'm your host, Bonnie. This is our Ask a Testing Expert event, and we're very excited about this. We were having this, we've actually done this a couple of times, and it was so popular. And I've been busy, and everybody else has been busy, and we're just all running around. And people keep reminding me about this like, when are we going to do this event again? So here we are. It's today. This is so exciting. Okay, so I want to start real quick by thanking our friends at AG Grid for helping us keep Angular Nation going. We have so many events and we have so many things that are free. So we really want to give a lot of love to AG Grid for helping us make that happen. And then I want to introduce, I'm very, very, very excited about our guest today, the legendary Shai Reznik. How are you doing, Shai?
I'm good. Wow, legendary. I haven't seen
Legendary.
never been called that. Uh, Never. So thank you. But I'm good. How is everybody? How are you guys feeling?
We're good. We're excited. We have a full house. There's a lot of people here today. A lot of people have been requesting this event. A lot of people who have taken your courses and they're implementing what they've worked on. And then they just have little questions along the way and they just want to come back and spend time with you. They miss you. They love you. So we're very, very happy that you were able to find time for us today. Thank you so much. Okay, and also we had a special request because we have a lot of love for the Cyprus team, a lot of love for the Cyprus team. And we know the Cyprus team is busy working. We can't always get them, but we just want to give a shout out to Adam and Paul, and these guys are great. And we have our Cyprus buddy, Jordan Powell, who's been spending time with us, and he's been kind of hanging out with us. And he's like our little special Angular Cyprus dude. So everybody apparently has gotten attached to Jordan because now they're requesting him specifically by name. So we reached out and said, Jordan, can you join us? And here's Jordan. Hello. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but anyways, I'm honored that you guys wanted to have me, and it's it's a I love what you guys are doing, and I love the Angular community. So always good to be with you guys.
We love you too, Jordan. Well, you must be doing something right because they're asking for you by name. So yeah. Okay, so we're going to get back to Shai and Jordan. We have lots. We're going to have some updates. We're going to have some Q&A. We're very excited about that. But first, I have some very exciting announcements that I want to tell you guys about. We have some brand new initiatives at Angular Nation that we're working on. And I want to start by introducing my friend, Glenn Stewart, who actually came up with this idea and came to me and said, Bonnie, I want to do this. And so all I'm doing is supporting him. And Glenn, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks very much. Can you hear me okay?
We can
I
hear you. You
I,
want to
I
tell
don't want to
us?
I don't want to start on mute. Yeah, so this is really exciting. Everybody in here knows how important testing is. And there's obvious reasons we want to deliver good quality stuff to our customers. But for me personally, it's important because that old self-doubt thing gets to you. Whenever you're submitting your PRs, you want to make sure it all works. So I like to write tests to be sure that everything's working. But I'm always wondering whether or not have I been thorough? Did that test really validate everything I wanted to do? So I thought it would be nice to have some people who also find testing is important to get together with and talk and kind of explore and exchange ideas and talk about insights that we've had. So I kind of got to thinking and talking to some other people. Anna here was one of the first people I talked to about this. So we decided we talked to Bonnie and told her our idea, and she was all happy about it. So we decided we'd create a channel here on Angular Nation called Angular Testing. So that's what we've done. I believe it's going live today. Is that right, Bonnie?
Let's put it live right now. Actually,
That's
Anna, can you? Okay, so Glenn's going to be leading. We've got Anna Boca. Anna, can you go in that channel and just make it public right now so that everybody can see it? You guys can go and join. And so we started
yeah.
out with
So
you and Anna, and we added a few more people too.
yeah, I was going to say, it's great to have these people helping me with this because I can't do it alone. We've got a great team of people. Azariah Engelbrett, pardon me if I got that name wrong, Danny Anderson, Greg Razio, and Anna. If it's okay with you, Bonnie, can we just take like 10 seconds each for those people just to say hi and say who they are so we can connect the
Absolutely, of
faces and
course we
names?
can. Of course we can.
Yeah. Danny, are you out there? You want to go first?
Danny Anderson.
Sure, I can go.
Looking cool in his hat.
Yep. One of my absolute favorite hats. So I'm Danny Anderson. I live in Denmark, and I own a couple of businesses with development and also some in not in development. And I've been running businesses for years, and I've been coding for years. I love coding since I was 9 years old. And I just recently actually discovered the process of TDD. And before my brain would, when my wife would come into the room, I would say, not now, because my brain was, all wired up with all of these things. So discovering the process of TDD for me has been very exciting. It seems like my brain can work in smaller steps again, which is so nice. So I'm very excited about the channel and this call and having Shai involved as well. That's absolutely great. So I really appreciate this initiative.
So exciting.
Anna, why don't you say hi to everybody? You got a minute?
And Anna can introduce the next person, because she was actually, her and Danny both recommended him.
Okay. I like recommended a couple people. So I'm not sure.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
actually.
Which square?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
And we all agreed with your recommendations too, by the way.
Yeah, I think I'll recommend the second recommendation, or I'll pass it off to that. But yeah, I wrote my first Angular application last year. I got started with Cyprus in a wonderful way because of Bonnie and Tim, and was able to talk and get some discussions with members of the Cyprus team, which was so exciting. And then now we're all a part of the UPS people. We're all Shai's like pupils, and we're very excited to be. And yeah, so I'm not sure like exactly what I'm doing, like why I'm in the group with all the other people who are part of the panelists and hosts for the channel, but that's okay. I'm excited about it.
You're a very important part of the team, Anna. You've already contributed so much to the team. We haven't even started the channel yet, and you've already contributed.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, but I'm excited, and hopefully I can be the voice of the beginners. So yeah, I'll pass it over to Azaria, who we invited to be one of the hosts, who is so cool. I mean, I've seen him on like almost every testing event, and he just knows stuff. And so I'm really excited to have him here. So yeah, Azaria, if you want to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Anna. I'm so happy to be very excited. Yeah, I need one of those hats that Danny has. How can I get one, Bonnie?
We definitely need to send out some more. Send us your address and we'll hook you up.
Cool. Okay, so my name is Azaria Engelbrecht, and I'm based in Cape Town, South Africa. I've been a QA automation engineer for like about 8+ years. I'm losing count. Yeah, and I'm so passionate about testing, and I'm always the one asking all the questions. I don't know, sometimes I feel like I'm the only one asking all the testing questions, but I really love it so much. I also love coding as well, and trying to find better ways of preventing defects, because I mean, essentially that's what we want to be doing most of the time. And yeah, like I'm so excited to be here, and I hope to learn from all of you guys, and I hope to share as much information as I can with you guys. Thank you.
We're excited to have you. Absolutely. This channel is going to be so cool. Okay, one more, because we were putting together this and Danny and Anna both recommended this guy. He did a couple of talks. I just recently met him and I was like, I don't even know who he is, but then I watched his talk and I really liked him. And he's also kind of recommending a lot of the same things that we're hearing from Shai. So I think it just really fits right in. He's a nice guy. Greg, you want to say hello? Greg Radzio, everybody.
Hey, my name is Greg. I'm an engineer And generally, I'm really excited about being here. So thank you for all the invites, for the great team to actually have me here. I'm glad to help. So I've been doing testing in Angular specifically for about 5 years now. So I've been coding for many years before that, but for the last 5 years, it's been like really intense on the TDD, ATDD, BDD, and all those kind of acronyms that we're gonna explain you all in the details in the future. So yeah, thank you for having me, and I'm really excited. So join us on the spiritual journey of proper testing. So yeah, thank you very much.
This is so exciting. Okay, so basically, Glenn is going to lead this study group with these panelists. We got Glenn, Greg, Danny, Anna, and Azaria are going to basically have this study group that's going to get together. What, Glenn? Every 2 weeks or once a month? In this same time slot, Tuesdays, the same time that we're meeting right now in the free testing channel. And it's like basically all of Shai's students going off for a study group as they're implementing all of these things that they've learned. And when is that going to be, Glenn?
Yeah, so I thought that we would do it once a month. And so the channel that we have is a great place for us to go in and type in, ideas or topics of interest, questions that we might have. And we would gather those in that channel and then kind of do a live event where it might be a workshop or a conversation, or even just kind of digging into the philosophy of testing, as Danny coined it, a think-driven development, TDD, think-driven development. And so once a month is what I'm thinking. And so we would just do the first one a month from today. But if interest is there, we can do it even every couple of weeks because we have a nice, great team here of capable, skilled people who can pull that off, I think. But the
Very
idea
exciting.
now is to do one in about a month. But, we'll just keep an eye on the channel and see if we need to do it quicker.
All right, so go join the free channel. Okay, Shai, since you are kind of like the OG teacher here, and I've added all of those people to this channel so that they can hang out with the experts. Shai, sometimes will you come and visit this channel because everybody loves you?
Of course, I was planning to do surprise visits and stuff, but now you ruined it. So I will. Yes,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. No, yeah, sure. I would love to, and it's an opportunity for me to hear even more question and more thing. Like the more question that I get to help with, the better I become as well as a tester. And even when people challenge my ideas, I become better. And so that gives me a lot of benefit as well, not just something that I can give. So yeah, for sure I will join as much as I can.
Absolutely wonderful. I just love seeing you around all the time because we adore you, and there will be lots more. So we're going to get lots of updates every time there's a workshop or every time Shai has a chance to stop by and crash our party. We'll hopefully be seeing a lot of Shai. And because one of the things that I really want to do with Angular Nation, and this is one of the reasons why I bring all of the channel hosts into the experts channel, is because I really want us all to be consistently teaching the same things. And even if the experts get together and like argue about everything, right? But then we're all on the same page so that we're not confusing everybody. I think that's really cool. So I think this is going to be fabulous. I'm very excited about it. Go join the Angular testing channel. Okay, one more announcement that we actually just came up with recently because we've got the job fair at the end of I don't know what's going, you guys, I'm still learning as we go along, but we have a lot of people signing up for the job fair. We only have a few hiring managers. And this is something that we've been talking about. Like we want to understand, because we have a lot of hiring managers come in, but we want to understand kind of what struggles they're dealing with and what kind of things they want and really talk to them more about what's going on. And so we are starting hiring managers, or like a manager's lounge for all of the managers to get together. And we asked Tim Baldwin, because he's like the OG manager. We love Tim Baldwin. We asked him to come and moderate that. Now this is newer. We haven't gotten as far along as we have with the testing channel. So just watch for more announcements coming soon. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up because I'm very excited about this. We're going to have the managers lounge so people can commiserate in there and talk about what managers are struggling with. Tim, you want to say hi real quick? I want to keep it moving, but I just wanted to introduce everybody. That's Tim. Most of you already know Tim Baldwin, actually. He's been around in our community for a while. So we'll be seeing more. We've got more channels starting up. But that's it for today because, do you want to say hi, Tim?
Oh, yeah, I was off on mute. So hi, everybody. So I know a few of you.
Excited.
I think a few know me, but excited to actually get to talk about the part of the job I usually don't get to talk about. So
I'm really excited for you to have a place to get together with other managers and other team leads and kind of talk about, like, you know, privately about what you guys are dealing with. I think that's going to be really cool. Okay, so that's coming soon. Keep an eye for that. Okay, so I'm glad I have notes here because I'm so excited. So many things we need to talk about. I want to circle back because we had, actually, Tim, since we have you here, and Anna were asking me for updates, which is why we brought in Jordan. So Jordan, Tim, I'm going to let you ask your question to Jordan, because this is one of the reasons we summoned him here today, and I'm sure we'll have more questions, but this was a big one that everybody's excited about.
Yeah, we've been following the progress of the Cyprus component testing and see that it's definitely made steps forward in a lot of the other languages. But we were just curious, what's the update for Angular component testing in Cyprus?
Sure. So this is the question all the Angular community wants to hear. So I would say one is we still don't have like official, it's not an official release, even the CT support for like React or Vue, but that support will come out with our 10.0 release, which is I don't have a date, but it's very, very soon. Like, we're all hands on deck as a company trying to hammer this out. And the reason why it's taking so long is that it's a very, very big big change. It's I can't go into it other than you're gonna love it. And so component testing as a whole is going to be a big step forward with Cyprus, and give you a lot of cool benefits, because you get a lot of you get component testing, but you're using the same API that you're used to working with Cyprus, which is, I think, a pretty big win. In terms of where it fits in with Angular, I can tell you I have met with the component testing team, and it is definitely like the next like important thing that they plan to add support for. But at the moment, the focus is getting the 10.0 release out, which has official support for React and Vue, but then shortly after there will be Angular support. So I don't have a date, but I do promise you that it is like a priority for the Cyprus team and the component testing team specifically. And I promise you, as soon as I get a date, I will absolutely share it with you also.
All right, I have one follow-up. It's exciting. So are there any particular challenges building that feature for Angular compared to Vue or React? Because it does seem really interesting that pulling the components for testing might be more challenging for Angular when it's really component driven.
Well, I would say not necessarily, but I would say part of the question that I have is, now that Angular is sort of moving away from necessarily using modules, is if we just take a more component approach to like basically mounting a component, it'll be very similar to the way we're doing it with React and Vue. Either way, it can be done. So it's more just a priority issue. Like, we have to support one thing, and so we basically support our two biggest communities first, and then we'll go back to supporting Angular. But fundamentally, it'll be very, very similar. So like, if you have at least any familiarity with React or Vue, if you actually go and look at the docs for like our examples, like we're getting ready to with our 10.0 release, we'll have a lot of examples and a lot of recipes and that kind of thing for how to use component testing. It'll be very, very similar to those. So it just won't like work out of the box. And there are some sort of like third-party kind of ideas of, hey, this basically, it kind of works but kind of doesn't. It's not like officially supported by Cyprus, but it will be very, very similar. So if that helps answer your question.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right.
I have a follow-up question for Jordan.
Yes, Shai.
So have you seen the community project that by Yunus Jaidi?
JS Cutler?
Yeah, just cutlery. Yeah.
Yeah.
On their dev kit, I will put a link here in the chat for you guys. What do you think about that? And is this ready in your opinion?
I would say I think it's a good, just like it's a good example to test with, to play with, but I don't think it's I wouldn't say it's not something Cyprus would support, like go ahead and put this in your projects, but it is a really good, that is one of the examples I was talking about of an example that it will be very similar to how we probably implement this.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Shai. So we got the Cyprus update, and I've been bugging you for a while because I wanted to schedule this, and you were like, hold on next month. And then you said, hold on next month. What are you working on? We have to know, like, what are you doing?
Wow, I'm doing a lot, but mainly I'm working on a course that I promised a few months ago about smoke testing with Cyprus, by the way. And actually, I decided to create 2 courses instead of one. One about Cyprus specifically, and going in depth and explaining the architecture behind the scene and stuff like that I haven't seen on the other courses and stuff like that people actually go and explain, like the architecture and the server that runs that, and all that. And the second course is about how to apply smoke testing techniques and seeding strategies and all the questions that I got and I collected over the past few months. And it's gonna be a really, really fun journey. So that's what I've been heavily focused on, creating that, and wanted to release it and record it live in the next 2 weeks, starting with the Cyprus course. And yeah, I actually, do you want to reveal?
Can we see it?
The what?
Can we see it? What? We want to.
Oh, can you see it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. So so you can what we talked about. You want? I want to reveal it now, if it's okay by you, Bonnie. Okay.
Yes.
That's okay.
Should
Okay.
have to take my money.
So what I discussed with Bonnie is a way to support the community. I really, really love the Angular Nation community, and a lot of you here are my friends. Some of you I actually met in real life before COVID hit. And this community, I care a lot about it, and it's really close to my heart. So what I want to do is to help and support and to offer a sponsorship to the new testing channel that is coming up, and help to support the diversity discounts that you guys have for people who cannot afford the admission and stuff like that. So what me and Bonnie are doing is a partnership where we'll have a special link for Angular Nation, which will be an affiliate link, and Angular Nation will get a large percentage of the sales that come from that link to help support the efforts in the channel. Hopefully, in the future, it will open up more free opportunities for other people to join, and the more we will support it. So that's the small surprise that we cooked up for you.
We love you, Shai. Thank you. And it's the same price. The link is the same price for if they go to HighRes.io. So it doesn't cost any more. It just helps us out.
Doesn't cost any more, and it actually will cost less. I will make sure we'll have the biggest discount on moving forward. Currently, it's the same discount, but soon I will raise prices, and I will make sure that whatever is the biggest discount I can give, I will give it to Angular Nation, people who come from Angular Nation. And currently, so I set it up in 1 hour, really without TDD and stuff like that. As the special link, so I will paste it. It's highres.link/nation. I will paste it in the chat here, and you will be my testers. You will test if this link works. And if you haven't seen my cost-effective Angular testing workshop, those of you who saw it can attest to it. I try to take all of the years of knowledge and condense it. I work really hard on this workshop to make it as valuable and as much information that I can to help people and to have a good start in the Angular testing and to avoid mistakes. And in the end of this workshop, I give an opportunity to get my best course, Angular testing course, for this big discount. So it doesn't cost any more. It actually costs less, but you don't have to buy the course. You can just get the value from the workshop, and if you want to advance, you will have a chance to move forward. So yeah, that's the stuff that I'm working. So part of the courses and stuff like that are the Cyprus and smoke testing courses, which I'm excited about, really excited about. Try to bring more value than I saw in other courses, just to make it easier and even more. What I did, actually, I talked about the architecture. What I believe is that sometimes as developers we have voodoo, right? We don't know why stuff don't work because we don't understand how it works behind the scenes. But once we understand how stuff works behind the scenes, it opens up opportunities for better debugging, also better understanding what are the capabilities. If I know that Cyprus is opening up a custom-made browser, for example, I know that I can maybe manipulate this browser, maybe add stuff, or maybe add extensions, or like when I know. And sometimes when we read the documentation, although Cyprus has one of the best documentation that I saw for any open source project, sometimes we don't read it all if you're not crazy like me, that actually go and fix typos and stuff like that. So
it's a lot. There's a lot there.
Yeah, you might miss it. So yeah,
I want to add one thing too, because on the affiliate link, and I love you for the affiliate link. I want to add that this sponsorship helps us with diversity discounts, and I want to put a link in here for anyone who's watching this, and we'll also put this link down below. I put it twice. If you want to get into the premium live events channel and the price is too high for you, then just fill that out and let us know what you can afford, and we'll try to make that happen. And then that sponsorship from Shai helps. But I also really, more importantly, want to say I would absolutely recommend HighRes.io without any affiliate link. Like, you could just go to highres.io and type it in. And just the same as I have been recommending Cyprus for a long time. It's because as a developer, like, these are the things that are very, very helpful. And I've sent so many students to Shai, and they come back and tell me how they freaking love him and it changed their life and everything is amazing. So really lots of love. I've had a lot of people that really love this course come back and talk a lot about it. So, and same thing with Cyprus. Okay, so with that, so enough chit chat. I know that's a lot of chit chat, and I'm really sorry, everybody. There was just so much exciting stuff going on. Edward's got his hand up, and I know he always has good questions. So we are going to just open it up for questions, and we're going to kick it off with Edward. And anybody else has questions for Jordan or Shai, raise your hand.
Yeah, Shai, I'm among the crowd that's eagerly anticipating the smoke testing course. And the tooling is exciting, and I'm glad you're going to cover Cyprus as well. I think what's on my mind, what I'm eagerly looking forward to is, I know in your free class you talked about this, that in smoke testing you only test, I don't know if you called it critical path or critical functionality. And really part of it for me is understanding how to identify kind of what that is. If you're going to cherry pick, hey, here's a screen, I'm going to cherry pick what I smoke test on that. And really I'm asking, are you going to cover this in your course? What criteria do I use to decide this is something I should smoke test? This one I can live without.
He'll cover it now for sure.
Yeah, actually go over it in the smoke testing course and show an example on how to do it. And there's lots of way to get this information. And so, for example, you can, it depends on the business, but sometimes like the product can give you like, okay, this is the most common path that people go through by our analytics. Okay, sometimes the business BI person, right? Or like is in smaller companies, it can be the CEO or the operation managers. It depends on who's the person in charge of this information. Usually it's not the developers, right? But it's some other person in the company that is in charge of this information that can show you what's the happy path that most user. I believe in not guessing, in seeing the data, right? Like seeing how users are using the application, and there are great tools to actually see it in live, like tools like Hotjar, for example, or stuff like that can show you like heat maps and what people are clicking the most. And also, if let's say if you are writing a new feature and you haven't got this data yet, you can also sit down with the same, let's say, the business function that is in charge of, okay, what are the most critical business activities that if they will be gone, or they will be buggy, we will lose money. The business will lose money, right? So that's the question I ask myself when I look at features and I'm saying, okay, if
the business
if the
always says all of it.
Yeah, but the Pareto principle, the 20-80 rules, right? What are the 20% that accounts for, like, the most damage that could happen? Like if a person is on let's say a mysterious dating app, like for llamas, okay, for example. So no, I'm joking. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. It's a real app. But yeah, so on a dating app, and they cannot, like, I don't know, swipe right or something like that, so they will leave the app and will move to the competitor, right? So that's the question you need to ask about the feature before it gets released, if you don't have the actual data. If you have the actual data, it's easier, right? So hopefully it answers your question. Cool. Anyone
I think
else?
Tim had a hand up. Kai has a hand up.
I did. I was
ahead,
just
Tim.
answering or adding to that. I was, and I went ahead and just put it in chat. So just mentioning that Full Story is another tool that kind of can help out as well. Anything that gives you a visual history. Heat maps are great. The other thing I like about Full Story is you can actually watch the entire session and see the path that they take. Because essentially, if you start seeing that common path that's happening, like Shai is saying, 80% of the time, then you're getting your kind of automated or your path written for you. And then, of course, obviously working with the business. But I think it's actually getting to shadow some of the power users as well. If you ever get those type of opportunities, if you're building a corporate application, it's a little easier to do that. If it's a public application, I guess it's a little harder to get that type of data. So having the things where you can watch what they're doing is probably even more important.
Yeah, the hyperactive users. Thanks, Tim, for sharing. Yeah, we'll check out Full Story as well.
Kai Roeder.
Yeah. I bet this is something that is covered in one of your courses, but I ask it anyway. When it comes to choosing a testing strategy, I personally love TDD for example, services in Angular, because most of the time services do things like you have a certain input and you expect a certain output, and you can perfectly test this and write a test beforehand. But when it comes to writing components, and especially I'm working on a UI library, and I don't see myself using TDD, and I want someone to tell me, hey, do it anyway, because I think I like to prototype things, to play around with the API, and I want to test, freely test, should I do it this way or the other way? And if I start writing a test first, I already commit to a certain API and would need to change the test over and over again, and it kind of holds me back. Are my assumptions correct as that TDD is not the right choice for such an approach?
So first of all, I can totally identify with what you're feeling. And one of the courses I recommend and an approach that I use, which is not always go the TDD route. Like it's confusing at the start when you learn a technique. When I started learning TDD and got it, at the start I was super afraid of it. TDD is test-driven development. For those of you who don't know, it's when you write the test before you write the actual code. And when people hear it for the first time, they were like, "What the hell? I don't know how to write the code. How will I write the test?" So when I started with that, I was afraid of it, and when I got it, I use it all the time. Try to use it all the time, and then I ran into a situation where it didn't feel natural for me, like for certain situations. For example, when I'm using a new library that I don't know, I know some people can write the test, and their strategy is to write a test to actually learn this library's API through the test. I'm like you. I'm more of like, let me play around with the API first. Let me just push stuff. And when I'm not sure about a specific design, I will not. Like for example, I'm not sure about a specific API for the component or stuff like that. I usually will play with it, and see if it's easy to to click and to drag or to do something with it before I will write the test. When you write the same test over and over and it becomes like a habit, now you begin to see patterns that you didn't see before, and now TDD becomes easier for certain scenarios. But every time I get into a new scenario that I haven't encountered in the past, or it's a new library, I don't jump to TDD first. I try to play with it and get a feel of it. And then as soon as I can, try to, first of all, as soon as I can, write a test after I'm sure that, okay, this is what I want to do. I stop playing with it. And then as much as possible, I try to, the second time, to start with the test, okay, for the same like library that is new to me or something like that, just to get the hang of it. And that way I add more scenarios to my arsenal for TDD opportunities that way. Okay, if it makes sense.
That makes sense.
Cool. Okay, cool. No problem. Anyone else? Danny.
Sure. This is this might be a bit of a beginner question, but I find myself sometimes having a test of a function that then I realize this function is going to be private, and I shouldn't test private functions.
Mm-hmm.
So, and usually, obviously, it's because I then create another function during the TDD process that then use that private function. So should I just remove the test I had for the private function and then just depend on the new function that is public?
Yeah. So so the way to think about it, in my opinion, is you wrote a test for something that was public and now it's becoming private, but it's not going away, right? Some other public stuff is using it now. So you might want to move your test logic to the test that tests the public function that uses your private function, and not just delete it, right? Because you have like valuable scenarios that you tested there. Your entry point is different now. It moved to another public function because you always reach this code somehow. So you want to move this testing logic to that.
Yeah, but it's because the testing then changed as well, because it tests a bigger thing. So
right. So
is that okay then?
First of all, there's opportunity there also to figure out if it becomes bigger if it makes sense to still keep it in the same, file. You might want to extract it, and it could be like a signal for you to, hey, maybe it's too. Maybe I'm doing too many things here. This class has too many responsibilities, and you want to extract it into its own class or service or something like that, and move the test there, okay, instead of making it private, okay. And it doesn't even have to be shared in order for you to extract it. You just need to extract it for code readability and cleanliness. I don't know if it's a word, but yeah. So that's that's an opportunity there to figure out if that's a right move to do there. If it's small enough, and you change functionality, of course you need to change the test, but you need to ask yourself, okay, why did I make this a usually the process for me is starting with the public function, writing the test, making it pass, and write the code if I'm doing TDD most of the time, but even if it's vice versa. But then when it passes, I have now I can refactor it to smaller private functions. That's the top-down approach, or from outside in, and that way most of the time I will have this process where I start with the public and go to the private. Not a lot of times I start with public and make it a private. If I don't know, if several functions are using the same functionality, so this same functionality might become like a private, but then I ask myself if it should be another a component or a service or something like that. And sometimes in rare cases, okay, really rare, it makes sense to test that specific private function because it's too clunky. But it's rare because most of the time you will want to just extract it and write the test for that other file. Okay, makes sense?
Yep, makes sense.
Okay, cool. By the way, I forgot to say, Anna, you said, what am I doing here? Why am I here? I started Angular last year. So nonsense, first of all, okay? It's that's amazing that you're here. I want to say that you have not a lot of people have the courage, right? And when they starting out, we all have, I think, in this group, correct me if I'm wrong, we all have imposter syndrome in somehow, some way, right? See all the heads nodding. Always, we keep feeling like there's some part we don't really know, and if people will know that we don't know it, what would they will think about us? So we're all in the same boat, in the same group, and we're here helping each other. I don't feel that I know everything, and I would love. That's why I said before, I'd love to learn from everyone. Every question, everything. I'll always keep learning and reading books and perfecting my knowledge and stuff like that. So never feel like, especially in Angular Nation, that you're not part of the group. You are. Okay, forgot to say it before. Next question.
Zaria.
Hi, Shai. Sorry, I'm curious to know, would you ever have courses that focus on, I know we've been speaking a lot about the functional side of testing, but have you ever thought of the non-functional side of testing, like security and performance testing? Would you ever have courses on things like that specifically?
Yes. So the plan was to cover everything, like visual testing as well, with tools like Applitools or Percy and stuff like that. That's the plan. What I'm currently focusing on is to focus on the functional side and the developer test, and to cover all the the uncovered places. In my opinion, now I still have more courses that I want to add to the package and to complete the story there. And then once I will be done with that, then I will move on to other areas, like which are different, really different, like a different mindset. It's not like, you don't have TDD there, you don't have like how to write the code alongside the test. It's different concerns, but it's super important concerns, but it's kind of different from the realm of developer testing as I see it now. But yeah, for sure in the future, I will cover that someday. I don't know when. But.
Tom?
Oh, fine. Thank you. Hello, Shai. Nice to
Tom.
meet you. Just a quick question. Do you have, and does your course reveal alternative strategies to using testbed configure testing module? Because it's quite laborious, and particularly when you've got a situation that needs you to set it up again for a different kind of test, because the initial values are critical to the test.
Okay, so let me understand if try to understand if I got it correctly. You're saying that you're struggling with test bed because it's an issue to keep configuring it for the test, for the subject under test. Can you give an example of a thing that you struggled with test bed, like for example?
When you're using an RxJS operator, like with latest from, which actually subscribes right at the beginning of instantiation. So therefore, at the life cycle of the component is the beginning of that stream. So therefore, you have to restart that cycle if you want to mock that observable in a different way. That's one example. But the other reason for asking this question is because there's at least a couple of libraries that I can think of that replace configure testing module. And I'm wondering where you stand on that, and because I'm trying to decide whether I should go that route or go the extra distance on continuing to use configure testing module.
Okay, so first of all, I have two follow-up questions. First of all, can you name some of the libraries that that are replacing configure testing module?
The main one that I can think of, because it was in the last project I was on, is Shallow.
Shallow? Okay. And so are we talking about like DOM testing or class testing?
Class testing, yes. In component class testing or in service testing. So it's just about instantiating the dependencies or the mocks that you're going to sort of put the component.
But you're not rendering the component. You're not compiling the component.
Well, indeed, actually, Shallow also allows you to do mock DOM stuff in a different way as well. And I found its paradigm difficult to learn. And what I'm kind of asking you is, should I put the effort into learning it because it's more efficient, less code?
So what I cover in the free workshop, by the way, is my approach of, DOM testing has a lot of problems, especially when dealing with like subcomponents and their dependencies and all that stuff. And from my experience, when I try to tackle DOM testing at the beginning, I ran into a problem at scale. When I reached a certain scale, it was slower and slower and slower and slower, and I couldn't justify to my clients like to keep writing the DOM test, because at some point when the test ran like for several minutes instead of milliseconds or seconds, you cannot it's not cost effective, right? So I switch to pointing, especially people who are dealing with large code bases, until we'll get the DOM testing story figured out correctly. I'm recommending writing class test and actually using the test bed, but using the provider's property for initiating the component and putting the component class in the provider and injecting it as a service. And that way you enjoy the dependency injection the test bed gives you, okay, which I haven't figured out how to replace yet. But you are just testing the class itself without paying the price of compiling the component in order to extract the class for that, and you just get all the benefits like a service test.
May I salute you? That's an awesome solution, because it reduces the code but uses the right, the recommended tool for it. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm happy that, so you'll get this and more in the free workshop for free. So, like a commercial. But happy I could help. That's a trick that I used. In the beginning, we had like a different injector. You can actually use the injector of Angular without going through testbed, but they then changed it, and that way you had to go through testbed. And I actually, once I will finish with the courses, my plan is to, like with the courses that I promised already, my plan is to take like a period of time and reinvestigate, because I have 2 open source libraries that I want to release around DOM testing and making it faster. I need to experiment with that. And the second one, which is an idea that I didn't see in any client-side framework, okay, which is route testing, okay, but reusing the same logic from the test. This is like a kind of a unconventional idea, really I don't know, I didn't see it any other place, and it's still like I need to experiment with that. But if I'm right, just like with like Observer Spy, the library that I released, and I thought it was like too simple of idea to actually give value, but people seem to like it and to use it, and now it's been recommended by like the RxJS core team and the NGRX core team, and they're using it. So that's
great.
my plan for this year, to release more, so we could actually DOM test without paying the cost of like the speed and stuff like that. But we'll see if I will manage to make the experiment work.
Thank you.
No problem.
This is so exciting. Okay, we are at the top of the hour. I really hate to leave because we could just hang out all day long with Shai, but I know Shai has work to do. I know Jordan has work to do. I think Jordan's actually working right now because his eyebrows keep like, I don't know what's going on, but Jordan looks very serious. How's it going, Jordan?
I'm good. And it was a great question, Tom. I actually have just implemented that I have used the approach that Shai just talked about. And in particular, it was a Angular app that was like, I don't know, it was an old version, and the tests were becoming very laborious and time consuming to run. And quite frankly, the components were massive, and they were kind of like useless to, at that point, to test the DOM because there's so much on it. So I think that I can definitely advocate for that approach, and it definitely can speed up your tests in those scenarios and really get you to test the things that you care about. And then my next question to you is: are you using NGRX or any type of like framework? Are you just using like Angular, like a service as a subject, or how are you? Because you mentioned like observables, and I was just curious, like, do you have a bunch of them just laying in your components, or how you're managing that?
So the with latest from issue mainly came out of testing NGRX.
Gotcha. And you're putting that in a component?
No, that was more about testing effects, things like that. Yeah, because you kind of have to restart the module provision and for the whole thing to reset the details of what you're trying to pass in.
Yeah, Shai's was it your observed spy? Is that what it's called? That thing was perfect for testing those. So I would definitely recommend.
Oh, right. So it allows you to mock something that's already instantiated.
Yeah, actually, I have in the free workshop, I cover 2 libraries. One is Observer Spy, the other is Auto Spies, and they go together. And also, like I said, in the end of the workshop, I give an opportunity to join the actual course where I cover how to test observables with those libraries in more depth. And as like for those students, they have like a chance to upgrade to the premium version, which cover also the NGRX testing courses. I know some of you here on the call have gone through the NGRX testing basics course. So that I cover how to test effects and all the different parts of NGRX and how to view it. And soon I will release the advanced course that shows you like the difference between marble testing and that. And anyway,
you
how
almost
to
have to, because I talk, you know me, I talk to a lot of developers all the time, and I have personally had to test NGRX code, and I've met a lot of people who were like practically in tears, like they're stressed and they're really upset, and then they take your course and they're like, not a problem. And I meet people who are like, they say, yeah, I can just, and they volunteer to write tests. And I'm like, have you met Shai Reznik? And they're like, yeah, of course, I've been through his course. And I'm like, that explains it. So if you're writing tests for NGRX, especially because NGRX is, it's advanced in itself. And then, so you get that working, and then you have to test it. And it's really hard to find good tutorials out there, especially when you get into like that advanced, you're getting into like enterprise level architecture, and it's more complicated. Like the questions that Tom's asking, like this is more it's not for beginners, and you get into that level and it's really hard to find those tutorials. And that's why I think it's so cool that Shai has he's been building this comprehensive course for years. And that's why when people started joining Angular Nation and we asked them, what can we do to help? And a lot of people asked when I said, what kind of courses do you guys want? And they're like, unit testing. And I'm like, looking at Shai going, I'm not even like going to compete with him, because he's just got so much on unit testing. So yeah, so go take Shai's course, obviously. And Jordan, can we get the Cyprus team to come and do a thing? I know you guys are busy right now. I'm not asking you right now, but when version 10 comes out, can we do another Cyprus team? Can you bring Adam and Paul and just tell them we miss them and we love them, and just you can come and show off all your new cool stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of cool stuff, and we actually have some education, a lot of educational like resource training stuff as well coming. So there's a lot of things that we'd love to come and share with you guys and get feedback from. So, and I can give you I'll be in contact with you.
Have your people call my people.
Yeah. I'll have my agent.
Love it. Okay, we're just going to squeeze in one last question from Danny Anderson, and then we're going to wrap it up. Do we have time? Is it okay, Shai? Is it okay, Jordan? Okay, go ahead, Danny.
All right, so the question is how to decide, or how to, I've heard you say, Shai, that you shouldn't test the DOM, and I've heard Uncle Bob say don't test the UI. So what is your thinking around this? How do you decide? How do you avoid it, basically?
So yeah, I believe that also a question Glenn had about like, okay, if I don't test the DOM, how can I actually verify that that I didn't miss like a handler, an event handler somewhere, right?
Yep.
And my whole philosophy about testing is what's the right balance, right? Like what's the most cost-effective thing? What's the most test-effective way to do stuff? And I struggle with it because I'm like a perfectionist. I want everything to be like 100% confidence and 100% efficiency. And life is not like this, right? You need to have compromises. And that's why I try to, like, my big plan for this year, for the end of the year, to have like a test effective lab that we run experiments and see like which tool is faster for each scenario and stuff like that, and share it with you guys and in the courses and with the testing industry and stuff like that. So in terms of approaching the testing the DOM, I would love to, like I said before, to come up with a way to make it efficient. And because it's not that efficient in Angular specifically, I decided to leave it to two kind of tests. The first is for reusable components, okay, to actually test those with, you can do it with the future Cyprus component testing library, or like testing with Cyprus your storybook for those components, or just testing the DOM for those components. The reason that why I limit it to those components is because they don't have a big tree of sub components, and usually they are disconnected from the rest of the app. They are reusable components or dumb components, right? So they don't know about the rest of the app. So the amount of setup code you need to write for those tests are smaller than if you needed to write your feature component test and DOM test. And for those type of templates, let's say, or DOM that you want to verify, that's why I introduced like smoke testing to cover like the critical path in your app. Because if someone get to some esoteric place in your app and like trying to change their like settings for how many people to see in the or the products to see in the front page or something like that, you don't really if you will have a bug there, you will have a bug there, okay? And they will report it and you will fix it, and your test won't save you, although ideally you would want everything to be covered, right? But if you have a bug in your buy button, you better make sure you are covering it with a smoke test, and not like leaving it up to chance. And for that's the approach that's the most cost-effective or test-effective way I found to balance those. So I leave the majority of the component test to the class test, but what's important, critical, I write with the smoke test, and for reusable components, I will write DOM test as well, because of the reasons that I said. Cool.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
Love it. This was so much fun. Okay, if you guys really loved this conversation and you just don't ever want it to end and you want more conversations like this, don't forget, go follow Glenn Stewart and his posse over to the Angular testing channel, which is brand new.
Tell your friends.
Tell
your friends.
Tell your friends. Yes, this
Come
is a
join.
free channel. You
Yeah.
can go study with Glenn and his gang of testing enthusiasts. And Shai will stop by and visit us as often as possible. This was so much fun. Jordan, thank you so much. We will see you soon. Go bring your friends and tell them that we love them and we want to see version 10. We want you to just come and show off what you've been working on. It's going to be very cool. Thank you for making the time.
By the way, Bonnie, thank you very much. And Bonnie, by the way, if it goes on YouTube, you might put the link in the description, because I see YouTubers are doing it all the time. Like, hey, the link is in the description.
The link, we're gonna put the affiliate link. We're gonna put we'll put all kinds of links down below.
Just links to random websites and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And join Angular Nation, and then go check on the channels page, and you'll see Angular testing right up at the top. You can join that. We're going to have live events in there that will be free, and also keep an eye out for the Managers Lounge. That's going to be moderated by Tim Baldwin. We're going to be meeting in there. So much fun, so many exciting things going on. Shai, Jordan, everybody, thank you so much for coming. And the tradition. At the end of our call, I'm going to ask everybody to come off mute and help us thank our guests, and just send them off with some love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shai. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Bonnie.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, everybody. Great to see you all.
Thank you, Glenn.
Yep.
Thank you so much. We love you guys. Okay, and we'll see you in 2 days for Alex Rickabaugh. He's going to let us know what he's working on with the Angular team, and he's just going to hang out with it. I don't even know what he's working on, but he's going to be here in 2 days. So we'll see you all then. And that's it for today. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.